For the second straight week, Robert Saleh and the 49ers defense had to close the game out. And for the second straight week, they did. What is good, everybody? Welcome to the Instant Reaction Podcast here on the Gold Standard Podcast Network, part of the Pro Football Insiders. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera alongside Jason Aponte on today's show. Jay, Robert Saleh and the defense needed to rise up multiple times in this game in New Orleans. They did, and the 49ers are 2-0.
Never a doubt, baby. Never a doubt. Never once doubted the team. But, you know, again, in this league, there's no easy wins. Credit the New Orleans Saints. They played a hell of a game. I think they were vastly underrated going into this game. You know, the 49ers are just going to roll on them. The more and more I watch them, the more and more I watch their defense and the way they played in week one. And again, that could just be an outlier. I knew this game was going to come down to something like this. And you know what? In the NFL, thank God it's not college. You don't get points. You don't go up the rankings because you blew out, Hawaii State. You get a victory, and you're 2-0, and the San Francisco 49ers, even with all the injuries, still haven't lost the game.
No Brock Purdy in the game. No George Kittle in the game. The offense at times they struggled. They really couldn't run the ball the entire day. But when this defense had to rise up and make plays on the last two possessions, they absolutely did. The first one came, the Saints get the ball back with 4 minutes and 35 seconds to go. And who closes it out? Nick Bosa and Michael Williams completely collapse one side of the Saints offensive line. Bosa gets the sack and the Saints punt. And the Niners get the ball, Jay, at the 50-yard line. They're on the 50. All they need is like one first down. They can kick a field goal. And instead, they gain a whopping 4 yards and have to punt the ball back to New Orleans. Now, I will give Thomas Morstead credit. He pinned him deep. Saints were, getting a lot of crappy little dink and dunk plays to move down the field. But this time at the end of the game on fourth down, it's not Nick Bosa. It's Bryce Huff, who Robert Saleh has talked about again and again and again as a closer, somebody that can close out the game and make a play. That is exactly why you got Bryce Huff. He flies around the edge, knocks the ball out, and kills any chance of a New Orleans comeback.
100%. That's exactly what that is. That situational pass rusher, that end of the game time, when it's hurry up offense, you get out there, you get a guy who has bend. It looked like Fuaga didn't even touch him. And he went and he finished it. That's how you draw it up. Look, opponent be damned. Setting be damned. Situation is what matters, right? That situation right there is what you want to see. Bosa gets him off the field the first time. Great. We expect that because Nick Bosa is great. But Bryce Huff is that element is that we were asking for all offseason about situational pass rusher. Guy who, when it's time to pin their ears back, can go and make a play. Not only did he make a play, he made the play and sent the 49ers out of New Orleans with a victory.
Arjun, YouTube channel member, says, when we start 2-0. That's right. You don't have to give it back, baby. Appreciate the super chat, Arjun.
Well, I think what he means is the last two times that the 49ers have started 2-0, they've been in the Super Bowl.
Oh, I see, Arjun. I didn't pick up what you were putting down. See, that's why, Jay, thank you. I did not get that. Okay, I'll take it. Look, you start 2 games on the road, hostile environments. Your backup quarterback is in one of them. And, I was frustrated at times with Mac Jones in the game, but, I also didn't think that we were going to get Mac Jones that could give us 39 pass attempts for 279 yards with 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Now, I did have a fumble, which was he never should have fumbled that ball. But, for your backup quarterback, that's exactly the effort you wanted.
Who's going to start it? Who's going to start saying, hey, that's why you don't pay Brock Purdy? I'm not going to, but no, Mac Jones, I had full confidence that he would be able to operate this offense. He's not Nick Mullins. He's not C.J. Beathard. He's none of those guys. He's still a guy that, at times can resemble a starting quarterback. The point is to try to limit the amount of times that you have to send out Mac Jones. But if you give him a week to prepare, and if you give him a chance with, some guys that were getting open, by the way, that Jawan Jennings touchdown was filthy, he can execute. He can execute. And I think he is a steady hand, and he's somebody who's not going to panic in the moment, and you saw that.
It wasn't Brian Allen out there, right? It wasn't Josh Dobbs. It was somewhat competent. And Dallas E points out, thanks for the super chat, Dallas, they're winning games that we would have lost last year. This is a
100%.
second straight week. Niners had to close it out in the fourth quarter. Their offense should have closed it out, but they didn't, and the defense picked them up. It was complimentary football from the 49ers today, and that has to be a good sign because there are enough guys still on this team that had to have that little seed of doubt, Jay, like, oh no, here we go again, right? That type of thing. And for the second straight week, instead, the Niners said, no, it's not last year. It's 2025. It is a new year. And now they are 2-0, 2 straight road wins. They're going to play the Cardinals in week 3. Who knows? Brock may be back. He may not be back. I don't know. We'll find out. But damn, this is as good a start, at least record-wise, as the 49ers could have hoped for.
Yeah, and then the second half started to feel like last year. Penalties, right? Third down penalties, keeping the drive going. You were just like, oh my God, these mistakes, you're killing yourself. But they absolutely would have folded last season. By the way, Russell Wilson, 433 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. They are now beating the Dallas Cowboys with little time left. But yeah, it just felt like this was a game that they typically would have lost. And I think the difference is obviously growing and learning from those experiences last year, but Robert Saleh and his defense, and it's a little bit different, right? Like they actually have guys that can close, and you see it from different people at different times. I want to give a shout out to Michael Williams, who for all the talk this entire weekend, my God, was setting the edge and had a few big plays that were very eye popping. What you want to see, Yetur Gross-Matos has been actually very good, and I think that's kind of falling under the wayside as well too, because Bosa has the final play, and then so does Huff. But I mean, again, I think defensively this team is stronger than they were last year mentally, and they know how to finish these games from previous years. Just didn't happen last year, and now you're seeing that mentality back with Robert Saleh. It has to be part of the reason.
Tony, thank you very much for the super chat. Kicker update. You ask for a kicker update, Tony, you get a kicker update. Eddie Pinheiro starts the day by missing the first extra point, the first kick he ever attempts for the 49ers. You know what? He made a couple of field goals, a couple of 40-plus yards. I didn't know what to do with hands, Jay. They didn't hook. They didn't slice. They were good when it left his foot, and they were good the whole way. He drilled them.
The less we speak about kickers, the better. And what I mean by that is if we're discussing the kicker, we still have a problem. It's like I say over and over. It's like when a backup left tackle comes in for Trent Williams, but you don't hear his name. If we don't hear the kicker's name, things are good, and it's fine. But no, look, Kyle Shanahan wasn't even watching. I think Kyle's just, done with the whole kicking thing, but I think he has a lot of confidence in Pinheiro, and you can see those things were like tried and true right down the middle. So hooray for the kicker, man.
Speaker, thanks for the comment. Says great dub, and look at those field goals. LOL. It's nice to not have to sit and like clutch your pearls for every kick.
Can I make a joke? Eddie Pinheiro is accepting your apologies.
I saw your tweet. That was excellent.
Well, I love that people got the joke. Like some people were like, "No, he missed the field goal." I was like, completely missed the joke. Like just went right over your head, dude.
Jay, Sunday during the 49ers game is not the time when people are prepared
to be joking around. Listen, man, I'm going to get these jokes off. I don't care. It's tense. I'm going to get these jokes off.
Shout out to Steph Sanchez, who was in New Orleans for the game. Maybe she was the good luck charm. Seemed like there was a lot of red in New Orleans, Jay.
Oh, yeah, man. From the parties, like John Chapman's party, the 49ers invasion, like they go in packs. I mean, I don't go to Levi's. I go to other stadiums because I want to see other stadiums. I've already seen Levi's, but anytime that I've gone, when I went to Tampa in 2019 for week 1, all 49ers fans, we were literally celebrating like on the way out. In Philly, they came in, they took over when we went. Where else? Atlanta, like Chicago. The 49ers are just going to be out there, especially, I hate to say it, but when the team is good, really good, then more people are coming out the woodworks, but the team travels well regardless.
Gameplan.exe on Twitch, shout out to the Twitch fam, says Stout was up and down, but as a blitzed, he was exploited. I think, when Saleh blitzed, they took a couple shots on him. Teams are going to throw jump balls on him because he's only 5'8". He had a nice one-handed sack of Spencer Rattler in this one. It was more of what we've seen from Upton, right? Some good, some bad, and of course now he's hurt too, so we got to sit and wait for that.
And you want to give, and oh my God, the Dallas Cowboys just tied the game to send it to overtime. What an insane game. 37-37. What an insane game. Aubrey from 64. I wonder where he was drafted. They must have used the high.
Kicker update. That's insanity.
I mean, they must have drafted him very high if you wanted a kicker to make a kick from that far. But yeah, with the what I noticed was the same thing that the 49ers were doing on defense last week was on third down and on crucial downs, we're just gonna blitz you and we're gonna get there and we're gonna play man on the back end. However, and aside from the last blitz which actually got home, the Saints were doing a great job at picking up the blitz.
Yes.
And what happens is when you have that blitz picked up, everything else is just very clear. There's nothing on the back end that's zone or anything like that. It was a lot of cover one man last week of different variations with blitzes. And when you don't get home, that's the risk of blitzing, and you can get the ball out. I thought Mac did really well on against the blitz as well too. There was a play where they tell quarterbacks this all the time. It's like wherever the blitz is coming from, throw the football there because that's where the advantage is, right? If it's coming from the left, throw it right there. He actually really did that. I was really impressed with Mac Jones today, man. He really was good.
I thought he played okay. I wasn't like blown away. I have to say, on the last offensive possession the Niners had, actually on that possession, he threads the needle to Juwan Jennings. Like that pass to Juwan is in as tight a window as you could get. And it was right there, and Juwan dropped it. And even the touchdown pass to Juwan Jennings, that was a hell of a throw from Mac. He saw it right away, and he drilled it. He had a couple of good throws in this one. Con JKJ, YouTube channel member, thank you for the super chats. Says we actually spread the ball around a little more on offense, maybe because of Brock being out, but I liked it. How about this, Jay? If I told you the Niners were going to score 26 points and Christian McCaffrey was going to have fewer than 20 touches in the game, would you have believed me?
I wouldn't have, man. It's so funny. I would have. I mean, the game plan that I envisioned was they're just going to feed Christian McCaffrey until he pukes. But I think last week, so much of those 31 touches were just, how do we just operate this offense while we're missing all these guys right here, right? Like we weren't game planning for that. Now we know who's going to be out there. We're game planning and everything. And now we can dial those back. I did like to see Brian Robinson out there a lot more. That was really good. But Jake Tonjes is getting the ball, and your Mac was very good at delivering the football to certain people. Like I the only real mistake that I saw was that the strip sack. He held on to the ball too long. Colton McKivitz puts the edge rusher on the floor. That ball needs to be out. So you can't blame Colton McKivitz on that one. Like Mac has got to get that ball out, but he got up and he kept going, and that's what happens when you hold the ball too long. But I thought Mac was good.
He certainly did way more good than bad today. Yes. Way more good than bad. Bay Marin, thank you for the super chat. Says McCorkle area, baby. I'm not really. Man, let's just
hope this is the last time that Mac Jones has to play until week 18 in those rivalry jerseys, when that game doesn't mean anything and the 49ers have their playoff seed locked up.
Let me just summarize the Brock Purdy reporting today, by the way.
Yep.
He's probably going to be out the Cardinals game.
Yep.
He could be out 5 weeks. Mm-hmm. He also is progressing really well and could start against the Cardinals next week.
Oh, that sounds like I don't need sources to say that. Right. He could play next week. He could be out 5 weeks. He could be back. He might be practicing. He probably won't practice. Like, what are we doing here? What was that?
Right. Like, just because you want to report something. So you're just like, oh, he's not looking good, but he's progressing, so he might play. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
Marsh O'Mallow says the touchdown pass to Christian McCaffrey is underrated. It was a dime. That was a beautiful drive by the 49ers at the end of the first half. They get the ball a minute and 14 seconds, a minute and 10 after the kickoff, actually. They are on the 23-yard line, and Mac Jones brings them all the way down the field. And, a field goal, of course, would have been nice because you're getting the ball to kick off on the next play. But instead, they punch it in for 7. And it makes a total and complete difference in the rest of the game. And it gave them an opportunity to kick off the third quarter to really put the game in a stranglehold, which, of course, they didn't do because 49ers. But that drive at the end of the second half was beautiful from Mac Jones.
Expert level 2-minute drive. That looked like vintage Drew Brees, vintage Peyton Manning. Had the, just for 2 minutes, right? Like, so think about the situation. You're down, Kittle and all these guys. Things are going okay. It certainly didn't start well. I mean, when you start out of the gate with 3 straight passes, okay, Kyle, what are we doing here? Like maybe like let's, not do this. But, to have all that, to know what you have to go get and to make those throws, man, that was an expert level 2 minute drive, and something that is sorely missing sometimes from the 49ers. And the other thing is it's going down and scoring and then getting the ball back in the second half. Now, you didn't double dip, but you got to see the vision there, and to be able, one has to happen before the other. The second thing didn't happen, but I love that 2 minute drive. Amazing.
Jawan Jennings had a big catch. Jawan, 5 catches, 89 yards, led the Niners in targets with 10 on the day. Of course, had the big touchdown, the 42-yard touchdown, which was massive in that spot. On that drive, the 49ers had multiple 3rd and 10 conversions, including on the touchdown, which I think was 3rd and 11 or 3rd and 10, one of those. Massive day by Jawan, who, let's be honest, I didn't think he was going to play. I don't even know if he even practiced one time this week. He did not have full range of motion in his shoulder. He balled out today, man.
Yeah, if you want to check the tweet, I posted the next gen stats, dialogue of that play, and it's just a beautiful throw, and it's a few things are true on this, and when you pull it up, I'll talk you through it, like the things that I was seeing. Obviously, one, incredible Mac Jones throw. Obviously, two, the attention that was drawn to Christian McCaffrey out of the backfield that, kept the eyes of the linebacker, towards the line of scrimmage and facing him, and then to throw it behind him. Man, Kyle Shanahan was in his bag with this play, man, and here it is. Yeah. So, you see all the attention is being paid. Everybody's floating to McCaffrey. Boom. It's right behind his head, man. And you know what? I don't want this to come off harsh, but for him to score from that far out and have nothing but that much of grass, that's all Kyle Shanahan and that play call and that throw, man. I mean, like, how can you not give credit to, like, Jawan Jennings wants to get paid. Jawan Jennings might be somewhere else next year, but so much of his production has to do with what Kyle Shanahan schemes for him open, man. And this is an example of it.
Jawan Jennings was not touched on this play. He wasn't 42-yard catch and run. He was not touched by a Saints defender on the play. Credit to him for getting open, catching the ball. But yeah, if you don't think Kyle Shanahan has a hand in that, I don't think you realize fully what's going on. But again, the offense, there was the one drive really where they needed something and didn't get anything, was that drive in the fourth quarter when they get the ball at the 50-yard line. But in other crucial moments in this game, they delivered.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, look, you can downplay it by talking about the opponent all you want. You can say the 49ers, who in the first half had zero penalties and then had 5, and 3 of them were just backbreaking on 3rd down, right? Yeah. So two ways you can look at this. You can say, hey, they kind of played down to their competition. I would say here's how I'm gonna walk away from this one. They would have lost this game last year. They pulled it out on the road, and they had 2 back-to-back different closers, Bosa and Huff, and they still haven't played their best football yet. Like, they're not even close to playing their best football yet. And I think that's something where they're going to completely be a different team in a few weeks once they get everybody back. You see what Ricky Pearsall is doing. How does that not make you excited about Pearsall and Ayuk? And, when Kittle comes back, and like, things start to shape, go into shape. And I always say you learn more about teams during tough times. You learn more about teams during adversity. And right now, they've got adverse situations, right? Like, with all the players that they're missing, they were on the road this game. They were up on the ropes for a little bit, but they bounced back and they won. When you're blowing teams out and you're front running, I really like, yes, you're very good, but you're not learning what it's going to be like when the things get tense. Let's start to get tense now. Let's get these wins now so we can learn from them and get better throughout the season.
And I keep saying it, we don't have to give these wins back. I said at the beginning of the year, it's probably going to take 10 to get to the playoffs in the NFC, right? Well, guess what? Scratch another one off. Niners only need 8 more. Whatever happened, your backup quarterback's in, no George Kittle, whatever. You're getting a win. Like, this is massive for this team, because I've continued to say, just get into the playoffs and who the hell knows what can happen. And they got 2 already. I don't know how you can't be anything but happy. Let's get to some of these super chats here, because I know you got to bounce pretty soon, Jay.
Yeah.
John Brown says, love winners and the tight ends play. D. Winters had a stupid penalty. He channeled his inner Dre Greenlaw. Unnecessary roughness penalty. But again, another guy, right, did way more way more good than bad, was flying over the field, made a ton of open field tackles. You got to love what you've seen on the whole from Dre Greenlaw in 2 games.
Like, I don't want to get hyperbolic because it's only been 2 games, but Willis, Bowman,
Oh boy.
Brooks, Warner, Greenlaw, Aziz Al-Shair, right? Like, I mean, doesn't matter. These guys don't have to be the greatest linebackers of all time, but whoever is working with the 49ers, we say that we have bad luck all the time. You're not having bad luck finding linebackers. And it doesn't matter where you find them. UDFAs, in the draft, you're turning them into great players. And for all the talk about D. Winters being, hey, Nick Martin's here. He's here to take his job. Do they even like him? Oh, they like him. And they have good reason to like him. I mean, this is one of the better developments. We always just said, hey, we just need him to stay on the field. No, now he's a force, and he's somebody that we can use in different ways in terms of pass coverage, and he's just flying around at the ball. I mean, again, they hit again.
That is exactly the way to put it. It's not just can he be out there. It's he's out there and making big time plays. And the combination with Warner, the speed that they have at linebacker is insane. And that is when this defense has been humming. When you got guys, Al-Shire too was fast as hell. When you got guys like that, it allows the defense to be one of the best versions of itself. Lionheart Revenant says, I know we are a Niners podcast, but Rob was right. We should have drafted Scatterboo. Man, he's a bulldozer. Great win. Niners 2-0. Feels great. Yeah, I love Cam Scatterboo, but sadly he plays for the New York Football Giants right now. Larkin says D. Winters is a beast and Michael got better. Michael Williams had multiple good plays in this game. Tackles, run stops. I mentioned his effort on the Bosa sack on the second to last Saints possession where he just bull rushes the guard and pushes him right back into the quarterback. Michael Williams haters are a little quiet after this one.
Does he have haters, Rob?
Yes, he does. Larry Krueger, I believe, was giving him the business after week 1. I think it was Larry.
Look, I'm not going to say anything because I don't know what he said or anything like that, but it's very evident that last week, although Michael Williams had a 0 pressure rate, although that stat came out about being double teamed and chipped and it wasn't properly contextualized, doesn't mean anything if you watch that he's still holding the interior people and they're like, that's important. That's part of the wide 9 is being a big body in the middle and getting one-on-ones. Did you notice who was not on that double team list? Nick Bosa, because you couldn't double team him. You had to double team Michael in the middle. Now that changed in this game. The Saints were, throwing 2 and 3 guys at him or whatever. Michael's going to be fine. It felt like it's obviously the development is what you want, right? But you think, well, you have him in the first round and he has to be good right away. He was fine last Sunday. He was even better. Stack the games and continue to build. I have no worries about Michael Williams taking a victory lap on anything in week 1 is probably one of the most insane things anyone can do.
And I didn't hear what Larry said. I had heard, I think it was Dieter or somebody was saying that Larry was critical of him. If you weren't Larry, I apologize. I want to be fair about that. But yeah, after one game, like, let's calm down. He looked really good. Let's just chill. On the most part, the rookies, doing the damn thing. Again, Salah talked about there's going to be growing pains. Put your seatbelt on and enjoy the ride. And luckily, we've had some growing pains. We saw it with Upton Stout. We've seen it with others. And yet they're still 2-0. Like, imagine that. You can suffer the growing pains and still get wins in the meantime.
You know what's even better? When the defense needed to lift the offense, they did. When the offense needed to lift the defense, they did.
Mm-hmm.
And when you mention complementary football, that's something that seems foreign, right? And we kind of, again, in the beginning of the season was like, hey, this has got to be this offense while this defense is getting it together. Situationally throughout the game, when the 49ers needed a defensive stop, they got it. When they needed a big drive, they got it. What more do you want to see? Damn the opponent. Damn the setting or anything like that, but they are doing things that they were having trouble doing last season, and they're still not anywhere near playing their best football.
And let me know if you need to bounce, Jay.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go now. Yeah.
All right. Access Granted says Connor Colby was rock solid. Ben Barch hurt again. What a shock. He can't play a game for the 49ers without getting hurt.
Listen, Colby was good, and it is what it is. But again, I was told the 49ers didn't invest in O-line.
We'll see if it holds up. Thank you so much, Jay, for hopping in. I appreciate it. Are you going to do your own show right now?
I'm going to go hop in now with Andrew, and we're going to do our own. Stay here with Rob and then go check us out when you're done.
I'm not going to tell you. I won't tell anybody what to watch, but thank you, Jay. Appreciate it.
All right, bro.
That's Jason Aponte. Appreciate him hopping in. Levin had a work thing, so unfortunately he could not join us on this fine evening, but that's okay. I'm here with you, baby. we'll handle the rest of the instant reaction pod. I saw that Kyle spoke. Now I don't know what he said yet. We'll wait and see. But by the way, while I have you here, I might as well give a little love and a little shout out to our friends at Sleeper, because once again, we were on it with the picks. We crushed it last week with the picks. We told you 7 of 9 best bets for week 1. And we delivered, quite frankly. And we delivered again. Christian McCaffrey, anytime touchdown, ding. Christian McCaffrey, more than 4.5 receptions, ding. We both had the Saints losing, or I should put it the better way. We both had the 49ers winning the game also. Mac Jones, more than 203 passing yards. We were all over it again. I don't know why his passing yardage total was so low. That was crazy to me. Did not make any sense, but that's where we are. But we were all on top of the picks again today. We didn't get all of them because I had Pearsall over 55.5. Oh, he did. He snuck it in. I thought it was 60. It was 55.5 yards. He went more than 55.5, and we got it because he had 56 in the game. Ding again. We have been killing it. So maybe you should, tune in. Maybe you could benefit. And if you're going to benefit from our picks, do it with Sleeper, please. You can get up to $100 match on your first deposit, but you have to use our promo code GSP. It's super easy. You download the app. You can see the app on my screen. You pick more or less on 2 or more of your favorite players, and Sleeper has more stats to choose from than any other daily fantasy app. You can make pregame picks. You can do live picks too, if that's your thing, but do it with Sleeper. Choose more or less from the stats, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money if your picks win. And as I just told you, if you do what we say more often than not, your picks are going to win. So thank you to Sleeper. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Make sure you check out Sleeper today. All right, now I need to see Kyle Shanahan at the podium. We know we had some injuries in this game. Kyle Juszczyk went down with a concussion. Apparently he was seen wearing sunglasses after the game. That's a little scary, obviously, because that means he's having some light sensitivity. And, that's obviously scary. Brain injuries are scary. And you could see, and Kyle Shanahan even admitted to the broadcast at halftime, I believe, that there was some confusion. Juice was out. You had to use your tight ends to fill in. I think Tonjes was filling in a lot. Guys didn't quite know where to go. There's a lot of shifting. There's a lot of that stuff. So there was some confusion. And it hurt the Niners a little bit. There was some disorganization. So obviously with a concussion, we don't know, right? He's going to be in the protocol. We don't know what the hell he's going to be back, or what the hell the timeline, I should say, will be. Sorry, I'm just scanning Twitter as we go. How about this? Thomas Morstead got a big shout out from Kyle Shanahan for 2 punts inside the 10 in the final minutes. Who says Kyle Shanahan doesn't care about special teams, baby? Shouting out the punter. Good. It's about time special teams starts contributing to wins, right? It can't just be the offense and the defense. Again, I keep talking about in these close games, which every game the Niners play this year is going to be close. Special teams matter. Stuff like this. 2 punts inside the 10-yard line. Yeah, that's a big deal. It influences play calling by the offense. It gives your defense a little room for error, a little margin for error, because they can allow a couple first downs and not, be close to field goal range. All that stuff matters. And the Niners are doing the little things through 2 weeks that good teams do. And they look like a good team so far. Bay Marin says a wild Levin T. Black spotted. Excuse me. Is Levin in the chat? If he is, I didn't see anything. I didn't purposely disregard his comment. I mean, I probably would have if I had seen it. But always like when Levin doesn't do the show and then appears in the chat at the time I'm live on the air. Thanks, Levin. Just, throwing that out there. This is a massive win for the 49ers to get this win. Now, look, obviously you want to win next week because it's the Cardinals. It's a divisional game, but even if they lose to the Cardinals next week, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but even if they do, to start the first 3 games 2-1 with the injuries that they have had is massive. How about I didn't even mention Trent Williams gutting it out today. We really weren't sure if he was going to play. He was a 50-50 case before the day started. He was out there extra early. We had no idea if he was going to go. He played in the game today. Dominic Pooney got beat to hell today. He was having a rough day, got rolled up on real bad at one point. You saw him on the ground. He gutted it out. I mean, man, this team is doing all it can right now. Everybody is, Levin's in the chat, sorry. Everybody is doing all they can to fight through the injuries, and that's how you're 2-0. Levin says, I'm at work making real money. Yeah, you're working real hard watching me do the stream. I'm at work making real. That's because Levin works in a blast-proof room. He's the Homer Simpson of a gas plant, or I don't exactly know what it is, but just picture Homer Simpson, and that'll be Levin at his job. All right, let's continue to see what Kyle Shanahan has said from the podium. Sorry, not much, apparently, and not much has at least been tweeted out as I scan Twitter very quickly. So let me explain something that happened to me as I'm watching this game. So I have the YouTube Sunday ticket package, right? And I'm coming at the 2-minute warning. I went down from my living room, came down to the studio to watch the game, and I'm scribbling my notes. And I'm also getting ready for this show because we go, if you're first time joining us, thank you. We go live right when the game ends, immediately. That's one thing we always have done here, and we always have liked to do it. And so as I'm getting ready, I'm trying to get my phone ready so I could do the read and, get everything situated. And my Sunday ticket goes out right before the 4th down play, the Bryce Huff play. The screen goes out. The audio is working, but I can't see the screen for some reason. The picture was gone. So I'm sitting there like pressing refresh and freaking out. I didn't see the Bryce Huff play until afterwards when it was posted on Twitter. I just heard it. So I didn't actually see Bryce Huff come around the edge until, after the show actually started. So that was a little panic for me. It was like I felt like I was, back in the day, huddled around the radio waiting for good things to happen. Never again. I don't know what happened, but, can't leave that up to chance. I love the radio, but not when it's 4th down and the game is on the line and we're about to go live on the air. I would have liked to have been able to see the actual play. So that was a little weird. Benjamin, YouTube channel member, says Bryce Huff was awesome. That's exactly what he needs to do. I don't care that we didn't call Bryce Huff's name basically the entire rest of the day. If this is the only thing he does, that's why they brought him here. They didn't bring him here to make a run stop on 2nd and 7. They brought him here to get crucial pressures and crucial sacks. And in this case, he stripped the ball. And let's be honest, 99% of the time when that ball comes out on 4th down, it doesn't even matter, if the Niners, like that play is pretty much dead every time, barring a fluke recovery and a run for a 1st down. That is why Bryce Huff is here. And, look, there's a lot of people that like to look around at former 49ers and say, oh, I wish we had Jordan Mason. Oh, I wish we had this guy. I wish we had this guy. Well, the Niners made the trade for Bryce Huff, and he certainly looks like a different player than what we saw in Philadelphia, right? He didn't have this kind of an impact play with the Eagles. This sealed the game for the 49ers. We need more of it, sure, but massive for Bryce Huff in this game. Love to see it. I'm looking through Twitter now to see some of the comments. Kendrick Bourne is apparently very happy. I mean, it's weird watching Kendrick Bourne. He looks like Juwan Jennings, like they run the same plays for him. He breaks tackles in the same way. Be honest with me right now. If Bourne and Jennings swapped jerseys, would you know the difference? Would you be able to tell? Or would you just go through the whole game and be like, yeah, they played well? I don't think you'd be able to tell. Rob D says Saleh called Huff a closer. Yep, absolutely. He absolutely was in this game. You got plays from Bosa. You got plays from Huff. The Niners have been leaning on their top-end talent through 2 games this season. And why wouldn't you, right? That's the way the team is going to have to succeed this year. Now, they lost some top-end talent with Kittle, obviously, but they are going to lean on those guys. You have to until the defense grows up, right? Saleh talked about this. Shanahan talked about it. The defense will be better at the end of the year than it will be early in the year. And until that defense grows up, you've got to lean on the veterans, the guys that have been here, the guys that you can count on while you go through the growing pains. And we saw growing pains today. Multiple plays. Upton Stout, although I thought Upton Stout got called for a very, very ticky-tack. I think it was illegal contact was the actual penalty, but it was a 3rd down play. They had stopped the Saints. He broke up the pass, did a great job breaking up the pass, and they called him, I think, for illegal contact. I thought it was very touchy. very touchy by the officials. But then later in that same drive, before the Saints scored a touchdown, Marquise Siegel got called for a penalty, which was absolutely not a ticky-tack penalty. It was 100% a penalty. So, we've seen the growing pains there, and we'll probably see more. But you love to see him in a win, right? Love to learn from your mistakes after a win. Just checking. Yeah, the Mayoko report on Brock Purdy was there's a possibility that he only misses one game. Yeah, that's not really much of a report. Anyway, shout out to everybody watching. There's almost 1,000 people watching right now. Thank you so much. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. If you're new to us, we're live every single weekday here on the Gold Standard Podcast Network. We're obviously live after the games as well. Usually I have a co-host. Jay was here early in the show, had to dip out, but usually we have a co-host here for the instant reactions. So again, like this video, subscribe to the channel, give us a chance, and I promise you'll come back for more. Oscar Alfaro says, going to need the trade for another tackle. I don't know about that, but I will say this. The 49ers probably will, and they get those guys in the game. I know there's a lot of talk about the 49ers and the offensive line. Kyle doesn't care about it, and they don't invest in it as much as people would want. Connor Colby came in today and we didn't say his name once, right? That means he had to be pretty damn solid. He came into the game today and for the most part was solid. And they get these late round picks or these cast off offensive linemen that nobody really wants, or sometimes it's an undrafted free agent, and they play these guys, or they end up playing, and they squeeze the juice out of them. As much talent as there is to be there, they try to get the most out of them. And who knows if that's going to hold up next week? We don't know specifically what the injury to Ben Barch is. I haven't seen anyone actually say like what Kyle talked about. Usually Kyle's injury reports after the game are so-and-so had an injury, did not return. Like, he tries to get away with just saying that. But, we'll have to find out on Monday. As it is, with Kyle, you have to wait till Monday, till the conference call. Then he gives the real update on the injuries. But that's why we just celebrate today. Just celebrate and be happy with the victory. 2-0. If I had told you 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago that the 49ers would be 2-0 through 2 weeks, you would have taken it. If I had told you that they would lose George Kittle for 4 games and Brock Purdy for the second game, you would have been overjoyed. So we can celebrate today. The injuries will come tomorrow. Let me scan through some of your comments. Brisbee Life says Levin has a job or some BS. Yes, that's true. I Am Me says Brian Robinson is not a legitimate backup for Christian McCaffrey. I'll say this. I don't think Brian Robinson has looked very good through 2 weeks. He looks very, very tentative to me. He comes up to the line of scrimmage and he stops his feet or he slows his feet down. He is not hitting the hole hard. He is looking for where to go. And that is not how this offense is supposed to be run. It is supposed to be hit one cut and go and right up the gut and maximize each play. He has not looked like it so far. I continue to think and hope that Jeff Wilson was going to be on this team somehow because he looked damn good to me when he was running the ball. I know it was preseason, but whatever. He looked more confident hitting the hole. I don't know. They're not giving Garendo any touches. And I guess maybe they feel obligated to play Brian Robinson because they traded for him. I don't know. But he has not looked like he quite gets it to me. And Jordan James was inactive today. That was kind of a bummer for me. I'm all done with Garendo, quite honestly. Like, he's just not, to me, a good player. He gets hurt all the time. He doesn't look good as a straight up running back. As a returner, he's nothing special at all. In fact, he makes dumb decisions. They caught the ball he catches the ball in the end zone and then runs it out and gets tackled at the 20, which costs the 49ers field position. If you're in the end zone, dude, you stay in the end zone. You don't return the ball. I'm done with Garendo. I would much rather see Jordan James in there. I don't want to see Isaac Garendo at all. But James was inactive. Nick Martin was inactive as well. I think Drew Moss was inactive. So we'll see if that continues. But yeah, I don't. Oscar says Garendo falls to not get hit. I don't know about that. He just doesn't seem like a very heady player to me. He doesn't seem like his head's in the game. With the long run against the Seahawks at the end of the game with the clock, he wasn't managing that situation properly. It ain't me. It ain't on me. Apparently, Harrison Butker missed a field goal. Every kicker that misses a field goal now somehow gets related to Jake Moody, which is hilarious to me. Okay, Harrison Butker missed a field goal. A lot of guys missing field goals early this year. It's not just the 49ers. Now, nobody missed a 27-yarder, but All right, let's go. Give me your game balls for the game today. I'll give out a few. Game ball number one to me has to go to Nick Bosa. The man is a freak, okay? I think he led the team with 9 tackles today, or maybe Fred and then Bosa. Yeah, Fred had 11. Nick Bosa had 9. Sometimes we only judge Nick Bosa based on sacks, and I get it. That's what his main job. That is what he is supposed to do. But he does other things. He's really good against the run. He is a complete player, an edge rusher. Obviously, he had the big sack when they needed it on the Saints' second to last possession. Nick Bosa talked about this year wanting to get back to doing the things that made him great. And I think he kind of simplified things a little bit. And he is doing those things, and it's showing because he's got 2 sacks through 2 weeks. He's coming up with big plays in big moments. It's not just 2 sacks, right? It's not a first quarter sack on the opening drive. Yeah, that's great. It's crucial sacks. Obviously, the strip fumble at the end of last week where he just throws Abe Lucas into Sam Darnold. And then this week, the sack of Spencer Rattler. I know the Saints ultimately got the ball back, but that was a massive, massive possession for Nick Bosa, and he made the play. So I got to give Nick Bosa a game ball today. Again, give me your game balls in the chat. There we go. Scott Sullivan says, we got lucky on that Fred Warner fumble recovery. Could have gone either way. That was a dicey challenge to me. I tweeted out that I thought it was a dicey challenge. Obviously, I was wrong. It got overturned. Massive play by Fred Warner. Again, talked about leaning on the stars, right? Making plays. And Fox had a crazy stat. Alvin Kamara has 4 lost fumbles against the 49ers in his career. Against every other team in the NFL, he has 3 lost fumbles, which is mind-blowing. I don't know if it's Fred. I don't know what it is, but it was an incredible stat by Fox. But yeah, Fred Warner and Nick Bosa doing the damn thing. And as Matt Barrows says in the tweet, Mykal Williams and Bryce Huff came up big at the end of the game. It can safely be said the defensive end spot is improved from the last 3 seasons. Yeah, definitely. Nick Bosa, you kind of knew that it would be that way when Bosa said in the preseason, like, hey, I'm seeing NFL bodies out there, right? Like, he knew he was desperate to get some NFL caliber players back on the field this year. 49ers did. They restocked. Yetur Gross-Matos looks good. I know he was here last year, but he's playing a lot more. He looks good. Mykal Williams, I feel like you can see is progressing. Kalia Davis, again, massive penetration from the defensive tackle spot 2 weeks in a row. There have been plays where the running back has taken the handoff and Kalia Davis is right there. I think Kevin Kugler on the Fox broadcast said Kalia Davis is blotting out the sun, which was a really good way to put it. It was phenomenal. So there are some improvements on the defensive line that are evident even now. You can see them right away. Who else gets your game ball? Benjamin, YouTube channel member, gives it to Robert Saleh, which I understand that. I know the Saints scored 21 points, but that's pretty good to give up in an NFL game, especially, on the road. One of them came off of a Mac Jones turnover, which obviously isn't Robert Saleh's fault. One of the touchdowns, I should say, came off of the Mac Jones turnover, which is not Robert Saleh's fault. I thought you made New Orleans earn it. Pretty much everything they got. It did not look very easy for them. So, yeah, if you want to give Robert Saleh a game ball, his defense has closed out the last 2 weeks. So, no problem there, Benjamin. Kenny wants to give it to Fred Warner with the crazy forced fumble. Fred is great. He definitely deserves a game ball as well. Surprised I'm not seeing a lot of Mac Jones support in the chat. Bay Marin says Mac did a tush push even. Yeah, that was weird. It was a quarterback sneak, but like Ton just lined up behind Mac Jones and basically it wasn't even a tush push. He just like rammed him forward to get the first down, which is a little scary because if Mac Jones had gotten hurt in this game, it was Adrian Martinez was the backup quarterback for the 49ers. And sometimes on those quarterback sneaks, you take some shots to the head. Jake Tondres actually himself took a vicious shot to the head on a catch, full on helmet to helmet that was not called, where he absolutely got blasted. There we go. Mike Rotunda has a vote for Mac Jones. Came in and won a game on the road. Not easy in this league. Again, 26 of 39 for Mac Jones, 279 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, did take 3 sacks, ended with a 113 quarterback rating, also did have the fumble, 2 fumbles on the day. Yeah, because there was a sort of a botched exchange, or I don't know if it was an actual handoff or a play fake to McCaffrey where they fumbled the ball. I guess they put that on Mac. Okay. So certainly some things to clean up, but he looked more like rookie year Mac Jones than he did Mac Jones with the Jaguars. I will say that. So I'm trying to think if there's anybody else. McCaffrey was good. I mean, he was Christian McCaffrey. 13 carries, 55 yards. Longest run of the day was only 10 yards. So, as a running back, okay. As a receiver, phenomenal. 6 catches, 52 yards. Had the receiving touchdown, by the way. 7 targets. There was that one play that Kyle had with McCaffrey, which was brutal, which I'm just realizing my topic bar had a typo in it. Sorry about that. That's what I get for trying to type and host at the same time. There was one play with McCaffrey where it was brutal. He's on the line of scrimmage, and then Mac Jones motions him to back up. So he's like 3 or 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage. He gets a running start, like basically full speed, and he goes right up to, I think it was a safety. That Moose Johnson called him a linebacker, but I'm pretty sure it was a safety. And the safety has to turn his hips because he's worried about McCaffrey going right by him. And instead, McCaffrey slams on the brakes, runs a curl, catches a conversion. I think it was on 3rd and long. And it was on the Jennings touchdown drive, I believe, that this happened. And he just there's no winning for that defender for the Saints. It was just a brutal, a bleep you play. We're going to run 23 right at you, and then he's going to slam on the brakes just when you think he's going past you. Easy catch from Mac Jones. The Niners convert, and they get the first down. There were multiple times in this game where the 49ers went to their best players in key spots and got their best players the football in key spots. And sometimes Kyle doesn't always do that. Sometimes I think he gets a little too cute. Today, it was Jennings. It was McCaffrey in the biggest spots. Jake Tonjes making that catch last week is phenomenal, but you don't always want to have to put Jake Tonjes in that kind of a spot. Rely on your most reliable players. And the 49ers have done that through 2 weeks, or certainly did it today. Obviously, their most unreliable player is Jake Moody. He's no longer on the team. Hooray. That just makes it easier. But that would be my message to the 49ers, and so far it's what they have done. Rely on your most reliable players. I'm just seeing some things from the 49ers beat. Vic Tafur. Oh, this is juicy. Let me put this up on the screen. Mac Jones was a little shaky to start, but said Trent Williams came over and told him, just go hoop, dude, and settled him down from that point on. It was a little surprising to see the Niners go pass on the opening drive. They were like, hey, let's put the ball in Mac Jones' hands. Unfortunately, he went 0 for 3 on that drive, and the Niners went 3 and out and punted, which is not something that they have done very much of. But then I believe Mac was 0 of his first 4, but then hit his next 7 in a row. So he did eventually settle down. Now, some of those were shorter passes, but that's okay. Do that to get the quarterback's confidence up, especially the backup quarterback, right? So that was fine. He eventually did settle down. And like you said, had a pretty good day. He scrambled around at one point. He had a very important 12-yard scramble early in this game. Can't remember which possession it was. It might have been on the first touchdown drive, where it was 3rd and long, or 2nd and long, rather. They tried to do an end around to Ricky Pearsall, which, needless to say, did not work. And it was 2nd and 14 at the Saints' 41-yard line, with 6:20 left in the first. And Max scrambled for a 13-yard gain, which made 3rd down reasonable. They converted the 3rd down and then eventually scored on the touchdown pass to Luke Farrell. So, it wasn't always pretty, but Max scrambled when he needed to and really set the 49ers up on that first touchdown drive. Levin actually texted me and said, Mac Jones looks like the most awkward person when he is running. Jones is maybe the most awkward moving player I've ever seen, but he settled down on that drive. It's not a place we want to see Mac Jones a lot with him running because his body looks like it physically doesn't want him to do it, but he did it effectively on that first drive. And like I said, it was big because it made the 3rd down manageable, and they eventually scored a touchdown, and they overcame that loss of yards on the Pearsall end around. So give credit to Mac Jones where it's due. Of course, I'm not surprised to hear that he was a little shaky. You're a backup quarterback. It's a big spot for you. Everybody knows why you're back in San Francisco, right? You're back to revitalize your career. You get your opportunity right out of the gate. And of course, they're nerves. No doubt about it. And good job, Mac Jones, eventually settling down, not freaking out. Now, I will say, the Niners got lucky. right? Because the Saints had some miscues early in this game that would have changed the entire feel of the game, starting with their first possession, right? They are driving down the field, and Spencer Rattler has, I think it was Chris Olave, wide open in the end zone. Olave completely roasted Renardo Green. He is wide ass open in the end zone, and Rattler threw it, I think, a little behind him, and he dropped it. And so that should have been a touchdown right out of the gate. The Niners should have been down 7-zip. And then not only do the Saints not get the touchdown, but then they miss the 40-yard field goal on that drive too. So they don't get a touchdown. They don't get a field goal. They get 0 points. Big difference in feel to this game if Mac Jones comes out of the gate down 7-0. And then especially if Mac Jones goes 3 and out on the first possession like he did. And then who knows what happens after that. So we got to acknowledge that. There were multiple penalties by the Saints in the first half of this game. They played a very sloppy game. If the Niners had played a somewhat more competent team, they might not have won today. They didn't. Guess what? Doesn't matter. Don't have to give it back. Don't freak out about it. Don't apologize for it either. But we can acknowledge it, right? We can acknowledge it without apologizing for it or giving it back. So we can be adult about this, especially after a win. It's a lot easier to do that. Kyle Posey of Niners Nation said, Bryce Huff pressured the quarterback 5 times today. That's not something the Niners are used to when it comes to a non-Nick Bosa edge rusher. They've gotten at least 5 pressures from a non-Bosa edge rusher only 12 times in the previous 3 seasons. Wow. Bryce Huff gets there in week 2. That is a tweet from Kyle Posey. Oh, man, that's getting a bookmark for me. I am definitely going to mention that again as we go throughout this week. Again, 5 pressures for Bryce Huff today. The Niners have only gotten 5 pressures from a non-Bosa edge rusher 12 times in the previous 3 years. We talked about how they have been searching for the complement to Bosa since Dee Ford left, right? We talked about how important that is for the rest of the defense, how it takes pressure off of Bosa. To be able to do it for him today is massive, massive. And remember, if he gets 8 sacks this year, the Niners pick that they gave up to the Eagles goes for, I believe, from a 5th to a 4th. So that is the number. And obviously, I believe the strip counts as a sack today, right? At the end of the game, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that counts as a sack for Bryce Huff. Upton Stout had a sack. Yes, it does. That's right. Yep. So scratch one down. So hopefully that pick does change, by the way, because we're all rooting for Bryce Huff. I personally said I think it's possible he can get to 12 sacks this year. Everybody said I was crazy. 11 said I was crazy. I still think it's possible. If he keeps doing stuff like that, it's definitely possible. Let's take a listen to a little Kyle Shanahan. I haven't heard this, but here's Shanahan at the podium.
It's awesome. However you do it, to be 2-0, it all counts the same. Yes, we did have to overcome a number of injuries. I was real proud of the guys doing it. It was awesome. Trent was able to go today and battle through that game. JJ being able to go battle through that game. Both of them had big plays.
Yeah.
But I'm real proud of the guys.
As he should be. Like, this team is showing some early character. You should be proud of the guys. They're fighting through it. You know, there's never going to be a time where everybody just heals up for the 49ers, right? You're going to have to battle through these type of things. And the 49ers absolutely did. And they should get credit. Michael asks, why isn't Nick Martin playing? Because they like D Winters better, and D Winters has been a monster pretty much. You know, and I could do the easy thing and kill them. You know, Nick Martin, 3rd round pick. You know, what are they doing? He should be playing. How could he not be active? All this stuff. But D Winters is on the roster. And look at D Winters, who they had on the roster for years. And now all of a sudden he looks awesome. So if he's going to follow a similar plan, you can't really bang on the 49ers for it. So we'll see. I know we were all excited to see Nick Martin. But right now, D Winters is playing the way you hope Nick Martin plays, right? D Winters has developed into what you hoped Nick Martin would be. So I think you're getting that. You're getting that player. He just happens to wear number 53 instead of number 47 or 45 or whatever Nick Martin wears. But yeah, I mean, you can't have any complaints about the linebacker play for the Flyers so far this year. It's been looking phenomenally well. So we'll wait to see what happens with the 49ers injuries. But this is a good day. This is a good win by the San Francisco 49ers. I saw the Rams were losing at halftime. Unfortunately, it looks like they came back to beat the Titans. So boo there. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just catching up on these scores because I was so locked into the Niners. Miami lost again because of course they did. Mike McDaniel could very well end up back on the 49ers staff by the end of the year. If it keeps going the way it's going, my God, things are just spiraling for Mike McDaniel in Miami. Looks like Arizona is beating Carolina 10-3 right now. Come on, Bryce Young. I need you to do something for me, right? Can we not let the Arizona Cardinals potentially come out and take a stranglehold of this division? We need them to lose. Can we get a little help in the NFC West right now? That's all I'm saying. The Jets crushed the Bills, I should say, crushed the Jets. Detroit put 52 up on Chicago. My God, that is brutal. And we got the 2 Monday night games a little bit later. So cool. Just checking up on the scores. Didn't see any crazy injury news for the 49ers, at least right now. So hopefully that is good. Niners get the win. Go celebrate. Thank you, everybody, for watching this video. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Again, give us a chance this year. If this is your first time checking us out, I promise you will come back. And go damn Niners.